I want to look forward, and one of the big issues in the election has been education. It takes the biggest amount of money after Minister of Health, but is the government putting enough money into education? Let's start with Eugenie Sage.
No way. And here there is a lot of common ground between Labour, New Zealand First and the Greens. We want to get rid of national standards. We want to ensure that there's an increased funding so that education is available for all kids, regardless of their learning needs. And there is common ground here, so we're confident we can work together.
And do you go along with Eugenie saying?
Very similar. I think in tertiary education, I think we need to make sure that everyone has an opportunity there. And I think there is some similarity in the policies across these three parties.
You're really, this is your pet portfolio, education.
Yeah.
So national standards with national would be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I don't think that they've had good advice, and I think I can give them better advice if I need to explain why national standards should go.
So what would you say?
Well, I'd say that whoever gave you that advice has actually, it was wrong. And it has lessened and narrowed what is a brilliant New Zealand curriculum, which already had 2-year human-like progressions in it.
Don't parents love national standards though?
That's
Because
right.
they do, because you know where the kids are at. That's
that is a myth. That is a myth. I left a board of trustees, and so did other people in this country, because of national standards, because of what we saw it do to our children. And the government, that government at the time, said that parents want plain language. Parents always had plain language.
All right, Matt Doocy.
What do you
first,
make of what
I would
Tracey
actually
said? Disagree with what you said, Wallace. I don't think education was a big issue during this last general election. It hardly showed up at all compared to some of the other big issues. Education and law and order was actually very little discussed.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Chris? I mean, when you were campaigning around the minor election, how big a deal was education?
I think for young people, having the ability to get a year of free tertiary education was certainly big. But I do want to go back to Tracey's point. I think national standards has been a complete and utter failure. And that's a point of similarity across the three of us.
You want to actually separate the qualified teachers from what you call the educators and such like. So what I'm hearing from you, Tracey, is that you are not into charter schools.
No, absolutely not. There's only one thing charter schools can do, and that is make a profit. That couldn't already be done inside the Education Act 1989.
Round the panel, charter schools, yes or no?
A huge amount of money has been sunk into charter schools without improving kids' education.
Yeah.
Chris?
Gone.
Really gone by lunchtime. Matt, charter schools. Now that David Seymour is out of the picture, do you support partnership
just
schools?
to challenge what Eugenie said, charter schools, no different funding have gone into state funding than state schools into charter schools. But you're quite right, charter schools and national standards are going to be the two biggest sticking points. But you hit the nail on the head. Parents love national standards, and that's why we brought out National Standards Plus, and they'll be able to have real-time information to track how their kids are progressing.
Hey, just a show of hands in the audience. Who support for the next 3 years? Who supports national standards the way it is? Hands up. Not so many.
I'd say there'd be about half.
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Charlotte, to you in the audience.
You support?
I do. I just like having something I can understand on a report card.
Yeah, interesting. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I support national standards. I think that as a parent, you want to know what's happening with your children and that it's been benchmarked against the rest of the country.
I find
it pretty useful.
I find it quite confusing, though. Wouldn't an A, B, C system work way better?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it may need improvement. That's fine. But having something that actually you can compare across the country is really useful. Really useful for a parent.
Interesting. Wallace, I spotted some teachers down the back. Shall I go and talk to them?
Actually go and quick chat with the teachers, absolutely.
Okay. There were some teachers around here, was there? Hi. I have a funny feeling I've talked to you before. Do you support national standards?
No.
No.
Look, they're a solution in search of a problem that isn't quite well defined.
Right.
Is my feeling.
So they could work, but they just need some adjusting?
I'm not really sure about that, to be honest. The way that they work doesn't really address the real problems that people have.
Right. Parents want to know how their children are doing. Is it better than the old system?
I wouldn't say that it is. In fact, and I'm from NZEI, and a lot of our members disagree, that they just don't work as well. And teachers are working so hard to produce these national standards things that maybe aren't really telling the full story. They're not painting the full picture.
Supporting local content. so you can see more of New Zealand on air.